The year is 1963 in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. A rebellion, known as the Simba Rebellion, had begun. Truthfully, it's rather complicated. The reason why I'm talking about this is that because in late 1964, Uganda aided in the rebellion. This included military assistance from the army. This was done despite Uganda's cabinet being sharply divided on whether they should or shouldn't send assistance to the Congo rebels. Fast forward to March 1965. Member of Parliament and Opposition Chief Whip Daudi Ocheng says that a month prior, a high-ranking army official opened an account with the Ottoman Bank. Within 24 days, 340,000 East African shillings were deposited into that account. This high-ranking army official was no other than Colonel Idi Amin. The East African shilling is no longer used, but 20 East African shillings made 1 English pound sterling when it was used. Doing the math, this means that 17,000 pounds made it into Amin's account. Accounting for inflation, that would be 253,000 pounds, or a little over $300,000. The next month, Ocheng accused Amin of obtaining money illegally from the aid to the Simba Rebellion rebels. He also said that Amin illegally obtained gold, ivory, and coffee from the Congo. This scandal would fittingly be called the Gold Scandal. The Ugandan government promised to investigate Idi Amin by setting up a judicial commission but suffered a number of delays. The first delay was the existing army rules. At the time, army rules dictated that any officer could only be investigated by those of an equal or higher rank. The only problem was that no one outranked Amin except for the army commander Shaphan Apalat. Also, nobody was of equal rank to Idi Amin. Prime Minister Milton Obote planned to have the rules rewritten to make writing a commission easier. However, the Attorney General's office decided to do it. This took extra time. Even with the commission in place, interviews of the Congo rebels couldn't happen. They were driven out of their country and split up into different factions. Compounded on top of that was that Minister of Defense Felix Onama wasn't able to meet anyone until August. In September 1965, Ocheng introduced a motion. The motion urged the government to do something about his accusations, but Prime Minister Obote said that progress was being made. This caused Ocheng to withdraw the motion. In January 1966, Ocheng was frustrated by the long waiting time in a report of the investigation. This made him reintroduce his September motion. Prime Minister Obote had a secret meeting with party officials to explain the delays in the investigation. He said that Idi Amin confirmed the bank account belonged to him and the money was being sent by Congo rebels to buy supplies for them. Obote and his party decided to reject Ocheng's motion so that open debate about the investigation would not happen on the parliament floor. Shortly after the meeting, Obote left the capital to tour northern Uganda for unclear reasons. A moment before the parliament session on February 4, 1966, about half of Prime Minister Obote's cabinet met to discuss whether party members should reject Ocheng's motion or not. Most of these cabinet members were sympathetic to arrival of Prime Minister Obote. The cabinet flipped and decided to support Ocheng's motion instead. Party members not in attendance at the cabinet meeting were told shortly before entering parliament to support Ocheng's motion. The motion read that this House do urge government to suspend from duty Colonel Idi Amin of the Uganda Army forthwith pending conclusion of police investigations into the allegations regarding his bank account, which should be passed on to the appropriate public authority whose final decision on the matter shall be made public. During the speech accompanying the motion, Ocheng argued that the reason for the delays was because Prime Minister Itobe, Minister of Defense Felix Onama, and Minister of Planning and Community Development Adoko Nakyan were complicit with Idi Amin. According to Ocheng, an anonymous person told him that Prime Minister Itobe received £50,000 worth of stolen gold, ivory, and coffee. He also said that Minister of Defense Onama and Minister of Planning and Community Development Nakyan got £25,000 each. Adjusted for inflation, this was about £746,000 to Itobe and about £373,000 to Onama and Nakyan each. In American dollars, that's about $899,000 to Itobe and about $450,000 to Onama and Nakyan each. Supposedly, another anonymous person told Ocheng that Idi Amin was promised command of the army for his actions. Afterwards, Ocheng accused Amin of being in a plot to launch a coup and dissolve the Ugandan constitution. Ocheng said that Amin would release the details if he was court-martialed, and that Obote, Onama, and Nakyan were not conducting a meaningful investigation. Since the motion itself only mentioned Idi Amin and that Ocheng had attacked Obote, Onama, and Nakyan, it seemed that another commission would have to be made to determine the guilt or innocence of the three ministers. One day later, Onama put Amin on a short leave of absence. The Minister of Affairs, Basil Bataringaya, appointed a commission to conduct the investigation. When Prime Minister Obote returned to the capital on February 15th, he was unable to persuade his ministers to stop the investigation. He also declared a state of emergency. On February 22nd, Obote dissolved the Ugandan constitution that was made in 1962 and dissolved the rather ceremonial office of President and Vice President. The same day, the cabinet attempted to meet so they could appoint a new commission. Obote placed 5 of them under arrest. One of them was Obote's rival, Grace Ibaringa, and the other 4 were sympathetic to Ibaringa and had attended the February 4th meeting. The next day, February 23rd, Obote moved Shapan Apalat, commander of the army, to Chief of Defense, and Idi Amin to Chief of Army and Air Force Staff. Obote had appointed 3 of his own judges to his own commission to investigate the accusations. In April that year, Obote published an interim constitution. 3 months later, Ocheng died of stomach cancer. He was 41 years old. In August of 1971, the final report of the commission was published. No evidence of wrongdoing was found. When I think of the gold scandal, I'm honestly quite saddened by it. I mean, I believe that Ocheng really was trying to do the best for his country, whether he was right or wrong. I really think that it's rather sad that he died the way he did at a young age of 41 years old, when pretty much the last thing he lived through was this whole kerfuffle between Idi Amin and everyone else. But afterwards, Obote would be overthrown by Idi Amin. Idi Amin, of course, the brutal dictator of Uganda, who really just there's no other word to describe it, just how evil of a person this guy was. And you can really see the corruption, how when the report on themselves came in, there was no hard evidence of wrongdoing. That's like the FBI investigating itself and saying, yeah, we haven't done anything wrong. We pinky promise, just go along with it, okay? But yeah, I think that this is just really sad, and it's just part of a larger conflict known as the Mango Crisis, that I'll probably cover. I'm not exactly sure what when I'll do it, but I'll probably do it considering this is just a pretty big portion of the mango crisis, and the mango crisis wouldn't be the mango crisis without the gold scandal. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it informational, and I hope that you liked it. If you want to see more content like this in the future, I recommend subscribing to my channel. It would help me a lot, and especially sharing this video to your friends, family, to anyone you want. I'm more than happy to have new subscribers and new people to watch my videos. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and God bless.